What's up, dude?
Welcome back, everybody, to the F&F podcast. It's me, Steve. I'm here again with Blake. And for this week's review, we are doing the all-time classic Scary Movie.
Scary movie, yeah. Scary movie 2000 flick with Keenan Ivory and Anna Faris. It's going to be a good one.
One thing I loved about it, it's a play on the old Thrasher movies from the early 2000s. For example, Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer. They kind of put it all in together and made a comedy out of it.
I saw this in the theater, which is insane that my parents let me, but let's get into it.
Let's get right into it. Overall, what did you think of the movie?
As a kid, I thought it was the funniest movie I've ever seen. You know, I can't really think of a parody movie in my lifetime. I think it started the genre. Like, parodies started here. You know, someone in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but what movie was before this,
So I think there were parody movies before Scary Movie. But I think for us, this was the one where we watched it being in the type of environment we are, coming from being fans of the Wayans brothers, that we saw this movie as kids, right?
Right.
Which is kind of crazy. But it wasn't the first. I think Airplane's one. There's other.
Oh, you got a list.
Yeah,
you got the list.
Yeah, there's other movies I just can't think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I want to say even did Menace to Society come out before?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, Menace to Society came out before this. I think what I liked the most about this Scary Movie is it took the majority of the cast were Caucasian, but then you have the Wayans brothers coming in there, putting in some spice into it.
Yeah, get a little flavor in there. Yeah.
I think that's what made it work, because a lot of the jokes that we'll get into in a minute, they're hood jokes, but they're told by like white people, and to me it cracks me up.
Yeah. So yeah, let's introduce some of the characters. You got the Wayne brothers, you got Anna Faris in there, and the whole cast. I read that this movie took a while to cast, and they kind of went through a lot of people. I from my understanding here, I'm going to look at my notes real quick. Yeah. That they went through like 3 casting directors. Wow. from what I researched, and they really, casting just took a long time, because I heard they offered a role to Ashanti.
Ashanti?
Yeah.
Who was she going to play?
Regina Hall.
Yeah.
Regina Hall's character. And I was like, man, what? Because I feel like this movie, really was trying to bring in the people of the time.
Yeah.
And they're really trying to stay within the culture. Anna Faris, they really didn't know who they wanted to play. I heard that they, looked around for a long time for options, and they really just couldn't land on anybody. So
getting to your point, you have a person, an unknown person at the time, Anna Faris, playing the main role. I think she did a phenomenal job. An incredible job. She was hilarious, being an unknown, stacked against Sean Wayans, Marlon Wayans.
Yeah,
it's intimidating.
Comedy heavy hitters at the time. Yeah,
heavy hitters. Yeah, and if they would have cast Ashanti as Brenda, I don't think it would have worked, because I've kind of seen Ashanti, I don't see, but I do see Regina Hall. Regina Hall.
She fits right in,
and she did an incredible job in her role.
Yeah,
roles after that. I mean, she's an incredible actress.
Yeah, Anna Faris, I think, did a great job building off of this role. And, that's what a lot of people were saying, that, this was her breakout role, and she really just knocked it out of the park with it. So I was really happy to see the casting in it. And I think they all played into each other really well. The director, Ivory, he wanted a lot of improvisation.
What we're trying to do.
Improv.
What we're trying to do. We can't really do.
We're working on it.
Yeah. It would feel more organic, dynamic, and I feel like I always cut you off, but it's funny that you say that, because when he did In Living Color, Jim Carrey, even Marlon Wayans said it himself, they had to have backup jokes ready, because he didn't like the fact that when they were going through scenes on Living Color, the sketch show, if they were going and doing a second or third take, they wanted something in the chamber,
something
different type of joke in the chamber, ready to go, ready to rock.
You could tell
getting the fans, to the audience members during the live performance, laughing still.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the actors said, that he would do a take with the script, and then he would say, hey, improvise this one. You know, let me see what we could do. And
Yeah, we improvising.
they did it, man. I mean, they knocked it out of the park with that, man.
I will say, I like this movie. The only thing, like the only word I could come up with to describe this movie is remix, baby. That's all I could think about. The Lil Wayne voice.
Yeah.
Remix, baby. Because every scene was like beat for beat of Scream, but just mixed up and made their own. And I was like, wow, that was awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Something else I read that during the time of script writing this, there were another 2 writers that were actually writing a similar script, and you know, the Wayans brothers script got picked up, but they had to give credit to the other 2 guys who weren't technically writers on the script. They had to put them on the movie.
They had a freeload. They had a off the backs of minorities.
A little bit.
This is gonna be a controversial take. This is controversial.
Well, I mean, you know, the Writers Guild got involved and said, "Hey, you got to credit these guys too," and they didn't even use any of their writing in the movie. It was
probably
all
just came up with a title or something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this movie went through like 10 title changes, man.
Holy moly!
Yeah, like they could not nail it. I remember they wanted to say, "I know what you did last summer, scary movie," or something to that effect. They just went through a lot of like changes, from casting to casting directors to scripts to movie titles. I mean, they really jumped around in this one.
I think it landed very well. I think that it's a testament, right? A lot of the great films that's gone through processes like that, where there's a lot of issues when it comes to production, screenwriting, retakes, recasting, and then still get made. Mm-hmm. It's very rare that they end up being good. And I love the fact that this movie ended up getting made, because wow. I mean, this is like watching it now versus when we were kids. You watch it now, you're like, there's no way they would make this movie in this time of day.
They would not touch this movie with a 10-foot pole. I think about it. Every time I see a critic rate one of these movies, like these parody movies or comedy movies, and it's rated bad, I'm like, you know what? That thing might hit. Yeah. That thing's probably going to hit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like if the critics disagree with it, I'm like, nah, I got to watch it.
They're too bougie. Ooh la la.
Ooh la la, man. You know, it's
not train spotting.
Where's the plot? Where's the plot? There's no depth to the characters.
The fart jokes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was cracking up on the fart jokes. I was like, anytime there's
Dude, I noticed that so much in the movie. I was like, God, they're really throwing this out there, man. I feel like every time they wanted to bring it in, they just dropped a little fart joke in.
So did the humor work for you?
Dude, the humor was not what I was. I don't remember a lot of the jokes that were being told, but I felt when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is exactly what was going on in the time. Like the fart jokes. I mean, I felt like it was like perfectly in line with what was going on in the time. Those are our jokes, just like funny little.
Yeah, just immature.
Just being immature.
Jokes.
I mean, what did it have at the time? Jackass.
Yeah.
You know, we're watching Jackass. So like this perfectly fit in the time. And I think like one of the scenes that like hit for me was when they were on the road. And the guy was like, oh, I'm all right. And they just kept like talking and throwing the bottle. And he's like, no, don't help me. And then they kept hitting his head with the car truck, dude. I was like, dude, come on, help this man, dude. Help this man. But just goofy, man. It was just goofy. And it made me laugh in some of those like goofy moments like that.
For myself, it's like you said, it's a testament of the time of the early 2000s, like that rude, crude type of humor. Overall, we both, I think, agree that the movie was good, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're not going to get too in depth of the movie, like visually, stuff like that. We'll kind of just talk about the humor, some of our favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, we're going to jump around. I feel like we're going to jump around.
Let's jump around, man.
Some of the scenes, I didn't realize there were so many penises in this movie.
Golly.
Like, what? How did that get past like PG-13 or rated R? How do you even put a penis in a movie?
I don't know. Like I said, I was rewatching it. I was like, I do not remember watching this. I do not remember seeing all this. Did I just like compartmentalize it and just forget about it? Dude, it feels like I did something like, I don't remember. Dude, I remember seeing Doofy.
Yeah, I remember Doofy.
Yeah, Doofy in the movie, you know, being you know, a special I thought he was from The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville. So I rewatched this movie and I'm like, dude, that's Doofy. What is he doing here, man? Aren't you supposed to be Johnny Knoxville, dude?
Yeah.
You know, when the fuck did we get ice cream? You know, like I thought that's where he was from, dude. So I saw Doofy in the movie. I'm like, oh my God. It kind of just all started coming back. And I think Doofy is another, you know, of the times. Like that was just what was funny. Like I said, I mentioned The Ringer. Ringer came out, you know, a few years later. Yeah. And that's just what was coming out during that time period. That's just what it was.
And it's not us laughing at him. It's laughing at the comedy that he's portraying. And he's like, smell my finger.
Oh, my God.
Like, the way he's walking.
Dude, do you remember that joke? Did you ever do that to people?
Yeah, I did.
I remember doing it to like your brother, you. I'm just like, you know, you hit him with it. I just thought it was funny. Yeah. What is that? Dude, the police are like, whoa, whoa.
Gail swallowed.
Dude, he was just so.
She puts his finger in her mouth and.
It was so goofy.
Yeah, this is this dumb humor that I don't know why I think it's funny. It's like we shouldn't find it hilarious, but we do.
Doofy, to me, was such an icon. I don't know why he just. Right when I watched it again, I was like, oh my God, this is what we were joking about. Doofy was the guy we were joking. Yeah. You know, besides that, wah, wah. I mean, I think everybody still does it.
I know another one we used to do was, I said I wanted $1, bitch. You know, the sandwich, the bump of the sandwich. So we would always say, I said I wanted $1, bitch.
Dude, just the comedy of her pulling out a whole sandwich got me.
I mean, in this movie, you have grown men calling women bitches.
Anna Faris being hit.
That's exactly right. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Getting choked out. It's literally choking her out.
Yeah.
Slamming her, whooping her ass. And you're like, what the hell? Like, this is fucking insane.
Dude, I was just like, God, this movie would not fly.
It would not fly. From the penises. Like, a penis goes through Sean Marlin's ear. Right?
Yeah.
A full-on hard-on penis. And you're like, what the hell?
In that glory hole in the bathroom.
The gay jokes, right? You had Smokey say a rape joke. When they asked him, they were interviewing him, and they're like, "Hey, were you close to the
victim?" Yeah,
and he said, "Oh, yeah, I was close to her. You know, she was roofied, and I did this and that. She woke up and said, 'Get off me!' And I'm like, oh shit,
dude, I didn't even catch that,
bro. It's like South Park, but in real life, right? South Park, it's kind of funny.
They really did push the limits.
They were pushing the limits on this movie. Brenda, by Regina Hill. Technically, she got lynched. She's a black lady in the movie theater. You have all these white people.
Oh, yeah, kind of a lynch mob style thing. Yeah.
I said, holy shit. I was like, no way.
I didn't even see it like that.
Bro, I was like, no way. There's no way. And it's different because when you see it as a kid, right? You're like, oh, this is just funny, this and that. Yeah. Watching it back as an adult. Yeah.
Like, man, yeah, you're right. And you kind of learn some history and you're like, oh, man. Yeah. Dude.
And even, for example, in the scene where... in the scene, Cindy's driving on the passenger seat, and she bends over and starts forcefully giving her. Dude, I said, "What in the world?"
Dude, I'm not even joking. I don't know why I forgot that scene, but I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too. But if you think about it,
yeah,
it's sexual assault.
Right. I just thought the setup, her boyfriend wants it all the time when he doesn't even realize it was on accident.
Yeah, it was on accident.
He never figured it out. It was on accident.
Right.
You know? And I thought that was just hilarious.
How did you feel about Sean Wayans being gay?
I don't know.
You don't think he kind of overdid it?
I think he did a good job? Yeah, I think, like I said, for the time period, I thought the movie was playing into the culture.
Yeah.
But if I going back and watching it back, was it overdone? Yeah. Yeah. You know, both of them turning out to be gay. I thought that was like the plot twist.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah. Because I forgot about that. I was like, they're both gay and it's them. Cat Williams kind of called this out.
Mm.
You know, in that interview with Shannon Sharp, you know, he was just like, dude, I'm never doing roles like that. You're not dressing me up as a girl. That's the first thing that came to mind when he started making the gay jokes. Cat Williams, I feel like, is calling this movie out specifically almost.
Cat Williams said it perfectly. You just caught it. We just caught them, Blake. Cat Williams said it during a Shannon Sharp interview that he was approached by Harvey Weinstein, right?
Dude, I didn't even know Harvey Weinstein made this movie until I was watching the credits.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to do this movie. Dude, I really don't want to do this movie.
We getting canceled. It's crazy because even in the beginning of the movie, if you catch it, they say Buffy was at the Diddy party and Buffy slept with a backup dancer. Regina
I
was
wrote a
mad
note about that too.
Yeah, she was mad because she didn't even sleep with the security guard.
Yeah.
Could have got her backstage. She slept with a backup dancer.
They had to know something.
100%.
Like, to make two jokes like that, they had to know something.
They had to.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about Marlon Wayans being Smokey?
Oh, he played it perfectly.
Think so?
Yeah, he played it.
You don't feel like it was a little like a little racist, like over the top?
No, I don't think it's racist in the fact, comedy does have to, push. That's what comedy always is. You hear comedians, Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Chappelle always say, you got to push it a little bit. And I think they did a great job of pushing it, exaggerating, some things. And for the time period, they nailed it. Yeah. They nailed it.
Some of the stuff still holds up too, because in one of the scenes, the media, one of the characters says, hey, the newscasters always want to get the most ignorant person to do interviews.
Yeah.
And then they cut to Marlon Wayans. I'm on TV, bitch. Mama, I made it. This isn't Cops. And I was like, oh my God, this is not good.
No, it wasn't. Let's take a break real quick, and when we come back, we'll pick up where we left off. Hey, you know what I noticed during the movie?
What's that?
That football team. You know who that football team reminded me of?
Of what? Why?
Dude, they look so bad. Dude, they look so bad. I was like, dude, did they record my high school, man?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What I got from the football team, I think majority of them were white, and they had Sean be the quarterback. The most athletic one.
Yeah, Michael Vick in it out there, man.
Vic, hell yeah.
I thought those shower scenes were hilarious.
He pulls out the Polaroid and he's like, "Oh, did this?" And even that shocked me because I completely forgot about it. I said, "Holy shit, that's a penis!"
I'm telling you, like, they made a lot of penis jokes.
They did.
Were penis jokes in at the time?
I think that's white humor, to be honest with you. And the only reason I say that. I have a feeling this is Caucasian humor, and the only reason I say that is because during the roast of Tom Brady, Kevin Hart even said, "What's up with you guys and gay jokes and dick jokes and all this?"
Dude, actually, yeah, that is true.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason I pointed it out. That's the only reason. But I think it works because it's taking that type of humor for mainstream America, and then blending it with like the hip hop urban culture, and then they're mixing the two because there's a lot of I think there's a lot of jokes. For example, when the dad's telling his daughter, "What did I always tell you? Don't cut it with baking powder, but cut it with baking soda."
Yeah.
And the normal person's like, "What the hell is he talking about?"
Right.
Essentially, how to cook crack.
Dude, that is crazy.
Yeah.
That her dad is a drug dealer the whole time. When the cops came,
They planted drugs in the house.
Yeah, you put drugs everywhere. But I like it because it's not your usual suspect. Right. It's not like this low end guy and he's not taking care of himself or anything like that. It's just a normal suburban dad.
Walter White.
Oh yeah, that's Walter White-esque.
Yeah, they gave
the
me
predecessor,
the Walter White vibes.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Do you feel like the movie was over sexualized?
No, because I don't think it was over sexualized because comedy has to exaggerate those highs and lows to really get emotion from the audience.
Yeah,
I feel like if you would not include those jokes and overdo it, you wouldn't realize how weird it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for instance, that, we already referenced it, the teacher and the baby. Mm-hmm. If the kid wasn't sitting right there in front of him and she didn't hand the baby, would the joke hit the same? If she just said, yeah, he's a minor or something like that. I don't know. It like really forces everything to the front.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. Like,
gotcha.
This is an issue.
Yeah.
And I think they were joking about it, but showing it is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't think there was a lot of racism, because obviously there is racism in the world, right?
Right.
They're just bringing light. Like this, there is racism out there.
Right.
You can't turn a blind eye to it.
Right.
And I think they exaggerate it to show that this is the forms it comes in. The reporter.
Grass back there or something?
Yeah.
Hear that?
Another scene I wanted to bring up is, when they're doing the "What's Up" thing. I thought it was so funny how his mask kept changing.
Yeah.
I thought it was so goofy. I think for 10 years, everybody screams "What's up" in the phone. Anybody from the millennial era,
Yes.
definitely screams "What's up" at least once a year.
Yeah.
At least once a year.
Yeah.
Do you know where that came from, though? Mm-hmm. Where did it come from?
Budweiser.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I had no idea.
Yeah, it came from a Super Bowl commercial in the 90s and it's actually pretty famous. It was one of those first like memes, I guess, or what we call them now, memes.
Yeah.
Or went viral. But essentially it was just a commercial. It was either Doritos or Budweiser.
It was Budweiser.
Oh, yeah. And then they're like picking up the phone saying "What's up" to each other. And then all of a sudden they just hang up.
Yeah. Was it broadcasted on TV?
Mm-hmm. It was like the frogs. Remember the frogs, Budweiser?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
I'm showing my age. I'm showing my age over here. I'm showing my age.
You know what the first commercial I honestly remember of like a meme where it was that Skittles commercial and he was like, "Berries are cream, berries are cream." Do you remember that commercial?
No.
What? No, I'm showing my age.
No, this is the dynamic, right? This is what makes it good.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, there was 3 frogs, and all they said was Budweiser, and that was just a commercial. And it was controversial because it was, parents were like, "This is geared towards kids. We have to take down the frogs," and essentially that's what they did. They had to get rid of the frogs.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Budweiser had to. I mean, back in the day, there was like iconic commercials and catchphrases like "Yo quiero Taco Bell." Someone got offended, and we don't see the Chihuahua anymore.
It's honestly tragic. That dog was so cute, man.
He was cute. He was a cutie.
Yeah, I miss that dog.
What are your final thoughts on the movie overall?
So my final thoughts on this movie, as far as does it stand up, taking the test of time, it didn't age well for this fact, the controversy with Harvey Weinstein, the Diddy stuff, and they reference it in this movie. The Wayne brothers did a great job writing. They really did push the boundaries and really set an example for other writers to push the envelope. The movie box office great. I mean, they budgeted like 25 million. And I think they made like 250. So the movie was a hit.
Yeah. And then they made sequels.
Something the Wayne brothers didn't like, that they were forced to make another sequel very quickly. And I think if they would have had time to write and really produce something that they wanted, that second one would have been more of a hit, because I can't remember it.
Yeah, Scary Movie 2.
Is that the one where they're in the
small
mansion?
hands? Yeah.
That's.
And the guy's in the wheelchair.
I thought that was Scary Movie 3.
It might have been. I don't remember. They all kind of blend together.
Honestly.
Yeah, some scenes I was waiting for some scenes. I'm like, where's that scene at? And I don't remember. And it wasn't in this one. It was probably in a different Scary Movie.
Yeah, I mean, we could hit on them and another time. I want to see if those really transcended time also,
How do you feel like this movie created the parody movies afterwards? Comedies that they used to come out in the early 2000s. It was always a parody of like 300 or a parody of some other
Meet the Spartans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? The writers of Meet the Spartans were the two writers that the Wayne brothers had to give them credit to the movie, but they didn't actually use their script. They actually wrote Meet the Spartans. So in a lot of ways, I think this movie set the tone. Like I said, it really set the tone for what came in the future. I was talking to my girlfriend and I was telling her, I was like, you don't see parody movies like Meet the Fockers and stuff. Like you don't see people swinging. I feel like every movie coming out lately, and it's not a bad thing, but they're all deep. They all have deep plots, and they're all, a lot of them are from books. These movies are just straight people's imagination.
Trash, straight junk food.
Yeah, man. Like
junk food for the mind, right?
Yeah, they just, like I said, really punched and kept punching with the jokes, and you don't see that anymore. And I think this movie really set the tone on what was to come, and I think it set it in a good way. To say like, hey, we pushed it and it was successful. A lot of people look back now like, oh, that movie didn't age well. Well, it did do well. You can't really say, oh man, that was terrible. Like I said, the controversy with some of the jokes, we erase those, that movie still hits.
Yeah.
You know, that movie still hits,
Right.
you know. So I think it did a great job. What about you? How'd you like it?
So I liked it on a scale from 1 to 10. I give it about a 6, right?
Okay.
But back in the day, it was probably higher.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And again, it's just this type of humor that's just geared towards the lowest denominator, where it's just rude, crude, fart jokes, throw up jokes, sex jokes. If you're into that, this is for you, right?
Yeah.
If you want to see something different, this is for you. Did it stand the test of time? I completely agree with you. It did not stand the test of time.
It did not.
Jokes to the women beating, to kind of the stereotypes of African Americans, even the stereotypes of the Caucasians, right? Where Greg is a hothead and he's like the leader, right, of his pack, and he's like, oh, you know, who took a picture of my dick and this and that.
Yeah, that jock.
That jock stereotype.
Yeah.
So overall, I don't think it aged well, but I still think it's a good movie for what it is. If you want to see something that's, you know, going back to the 2000, maybe 20 years from now, if you want to see it how it was in the early 2000s and how people kind of thought and what they considered to be funny, I think it's a good time capsule.
I will say this. You know what you're getting into when you watch this movie.
Yes.
You know, maybe you don't know every single joke that's coming.
Right.
But if somebody puts you onto this movie, you know what you're about to watch. And I think people should watch it with an open mind. Just
Right.
ready to laugh. And I think that's what the movie should be for.
Yeah.
And I want to know what the viewers think. You know, I want to know, you know, how they feel about the movie and what were some of their favorite jokes or scenes, you know, and really kind of, you know, yuck it up with us. You know, we laughed at a lot of this movie, and I hope a lot of people laugh when they watch it, you know. So that's my hope for the movie is, you know, a lot of people just watch it at face value and
It's just a bag of chips.
just a bag of chips.
Just eat this bag of chips and tell me is it good or not?
Yeah.
Because I mean, chips are good in my opinion, but they're so bad for you.
Yeah, definitely. Another week, another podcast. I appreciate the viewers coming by, listening. Please leave your feedback to us on our Discord channel in the comments below. We want to hear what you think. Steve and I love talking. We started a podcast and we want to just hear input. We also have recommendations. We want, you know, the viewers to give us mentions on movies that maybe we haven't heard of. You know, we like it all. You know, I don't think there's a movie we don't appreciate. And for next week's movie, drum roll, we're going to do Moonlight. Moonlight's a great movie. Won a bunch of awards, and, you know, I'm excited. So look forward to next week.
And I've never seen Moonlight.
That's the most exciting part for me. I think you're going to really like it.
The only thing I know about Moonlight is something happened at the Oscars where someone either said the wrong name or whatever. That's the only thing I know about
Yeah, that was that movie.
Yes.
So stay tuned for next week. See you next week.
See you next week.